Why is this so loud? There, Jesus. Hello, my cuties and my beauties, and welcome back. I have myself a nice hot cup of tea and a nice cold thing of ice cream. Well, frozen yogurt, but oh well. Tomato, tomato. So hopefully my throat survives today. Woo! I have a cardamom tea. It's so tasty. I don't blame you. Maybe one day soon I'll be able to stop blaming myself too. Fucking real. Funeral. I don't think we did any of the reading out here, did we? Perfectionist. Beth 2. I think we skipped Beth 1 and down in the basement, didn't we? Because that one just immediately dove into some pretty dark topics that I was not comfortable even reading on stream. Like, I would normally read it myself, but like... No. I'm not trying to get canceled here. What is that? What is that? A giant wrench with a pressure gauge and some... Let's see what Ashley's Invention 1 is. Oh my. Ashley's original ideas. Do not steal. Kitchen assistant. According to Maddie, the best way to chop hard ingredients like carrots or celery is to place the thing you are chopping near the point of where the tip of the knife touches the board, since this gives you more leverage. I looked it up and this is called a Class 2 lever, which gives you way more torque than when cutting things. Or cutting hard things. The mechanical advantage you get from a Class 2 lever can be increased by making the knife longer. That gave me an idea to make a knife that was 1 meter long. Oh no, that's a sword! That would provide a much greater mechanical advantage than the knife Maddie uses, which are only 10 centimeters or 18 centimeters long. Maddie says that I'm not allowed to use any knives that are longer than 18 centimeters and said something about a weeb katana. So, that idea is a dead end. I didn't know what she meant by that, so I looked it up online and found some videos of guys using really long blades to cut things like water bottles. Apparently, the key to cutting is force and speed. Since Maddie doesn't want any blade longer than 18 centimeters, that means getting more force for leverage is out. But I could compensate for this by just making the blades really, really fast. Ow, that's still too hot. I created Kitchen Assistant version 1 that uses a shorter knife, but it's affixed to a wheel that turns at 290 RPM, even with the blade attached. Maddie, no! She's created the fucking death Beyblade. Murder Beyblade. The first time I turned it on, the blade wasn't completely skewered and it flew off and embedded in the ceiling. To make sure this wouldn't happen again, for version 2, I welded the blade to the flywheel so that it won't come off. I think that Maddie will be really pissed with the result, or really pleased with the result, because I only had to use a 10 centimeter blade, which is much smaller than the original blade size that she had a problem with. Also, when choosing a knife to weld onto the flywheel, I picked a knife that Maddie says is the best one. I think her personal bias will cause her to like my invention more, because I built it using her favorite knife. No! Knife retriever. Kitchen's Assistant version 2 was a big success, but my testing of Kitchen Assistant version 1 left a knife embedded in the ceiling, and I wasn't able to reach the knife by climbing on top of my stepladder. I could probably reach it if I placed my stepladder on the countertop, but Maddie says that's dangerous, so I wanted to find a way to retrieve the knife without breaking that rule. I was thinking of making a giant magnet, but electromagnets require a lot of power, and the last time I tried to draw a lot of power from the outlet, it tripped the circuit breakers. And if you try tapping the circuit breakers in place, or taping the circuit breakers in place so that they don't trip, things catch on fire, and it's a lot harder to fix, especially since hiding that kind of thing from Maddie requires so much effort. Keeping the smell of smoke covered while replacing a breaker box is like doing 2 jobs at once. And that's 2 jobs more than I want to do on a Saturday afternoon. So, a magnet is probably out. Especially since... Oh. Jesus. Especially because I'm not sure if the knife is made out of a ferromagnetic material. I don't know what Maddie's knives are made of, but if they're made out of aluminum, the magnet won't work. I might have to try the electromagnetic thing if I can't think of a plan before Maddie notices. She probably won't like it, or wouldn't like it. The good news is that the knife is firmly embedded in the wood, and the compressive force of the knife is enough to prevent it from falling down due to gravity, unless a loud vibration causes it to fall down. So there's a very low possibility of the knife falling down and hurting somebody. The only thing that could disturb this is if it got humid and the wood around the knife started to warp. And the weather forecast said we're not getting any rain for the next few days, so I should have plenty of time to get the knife down before it's at risk of falling. Just as long as Maddie doesn't look up when she's standing behind that part of the counter. Everything will be fine. Visibility reducer. To prevent Maddie from looking up and seeing the knife on the ceiling, I created a device to dissuade her from looking up. If you put a really bright halogen lamp somewhere, it really makes people not want to look in that direction. So, I figured that if the knife had a halogen lamp next to it, anytime Maddie thought of looking up at the ceiling, she would decide, no, but I don't want to look up there, because there's a bright halogen lamp that will probably blind me. Let me just get a little scoop of this frozen yogurt. Oh, they're so cold! Ah! I have made terrible decisions today, chat. I'll look down at the counter instead. Or maybe she will look up at the light, and then she'll be so disoriented by how bright it is that she won't see the knife on the ceiling. The LED on my headlamp only goes up to 50 lumen, and it takes 500 lumens to disorient a person. The problem was that I couldn't figure out how to affix a halogen lamp to the ceiling. That was the same problem I had with retrieving the knife. It's too high up. Then I realized the simple solution. I could get the halogen lamp up to the ceiling the same way I got the knife up. There. No! By having the Kitchen Assistant version 1 throw them! No! Don't throw a halogen lamp up there! No! You're just gonna end up with shattered, like, bulb glass everywhere. The halogen lamps aren't I'm sorry. The halogen lamps aren't sharp enough to embed themselves in the wood, so I had to apply a layer of fast-drying adhesive, covered by another layer of wood glue. You're just gonna cover the area in adhesives. Uh, I figured the fast drying adhesive would hold them there long enough for the wood glue to dry, and that will keep them from falling until I can figure out a way to get the knife down. My first attempt to use the Kitchen Assistant Volume 1 to throw the halogen lamp at the ceiling did not go so well, since it let go at the wrong time and instead flung the lamp into the wall. It took me almost 5 minutes to clean up all of the big pieces. There were a lot of pieces that I didn't have time to pick up, but they were so small, so Maddie probably won't notice them. And if Shay notices them, he'll probably clean them up without saying anything. Girl, no. The second attempt, I got the Kitchen Assistant Volume 1, or Version 1, to throw at the ceiling, but its velocity was too high, and when the bulb hit the ceiling, it shattered instead of sticking. I tried lowering the RPM of the Kitchen Assistant Volume 2, but after my 5th attempt, I realized I was out of halogen bulbs. I wondered if I can recycle the broken pieces of it for anything. Lamp bulbs seem like they would be very hard to reconstruct. That's it. That's the end. This girl's madness. And we gotta read the this one over here, and then we'll. Or did we read Funeral last time? I've been thinking, said Kishan. Uh-oh, said Maddie. Pat, the people I've left behind, said Kishan. Well, I'm not going to see any of them again. One of them could be about to walk through that door, said Maddie. Don't taunt me with possibilities, said Kishan. You brought it up. Yeah, well, he slumped over in a funk. Death has a real finality to it, you know? Yeah, it does, said Maddie. That's death. The travel from life to death is a very one-way street. For all but a few individuals. And if you're standing here, then it's a bit late for chest paddles. I guess I'm thinking more about the fact that I'm not going to see any of my old friends again. Not as long as they're alive, anyway. That doesn't tend to be how death works, said Maddie. Or that does tend to be how death works. I hope you're not surprised. Not surprised, said Kishan. But also, I wouldn't have been surprised if that wasn't the case, you know? Like, I'm pretty sure on at least one occasion I've threatened people by saying, I will haunt you. And now that's never going to happen. Pity, said Maddie. You could have been... Yeah, you could have been someone's grudge ghost film. Guess that one's confined to the annals of Japanese horror cinema. Hey, said Kishan. I was wondering. Do you think there's a way for me to see what's going on at my funeral? Don't, said Maddie. Alright, said Kishan. I just thought, you know, it's kind of everyone's fantasy, right? To see what people have to say about them after they've passed. Wouldn't you want to see what was going on at your own funeral? No, I didn't think about that before, but that'd be interesting. I think it's none of your business what goes on at your funeral, said Maddie. Really? Said Kishan. I mean, I think it's pretty common for people to plan their own funerals. At least if they go late enough that they can see it coming. You know? I'd like to have my brother deliver a eulogy. Don't let them play any Barry Manilow songs. That sort of thing. Maddie blinked. You have a problem with Barry Manilow? No, I have no particular opinion on the man or his music, said Kishan. But a lot of people who are old enough to be planning their own funerals do. You can make your plans, but whatever unfolds at the funeral is up to those who attend it. Kishan blinked. What about the wishes of the dead? I thought you'd have a bit more sympathy for their interests, considering how often you interact with them. I care plenty about the dead, said Maddie. You were asking about funerals. Funerals are for the living, my friend. Kishan opened his mouth to respond, but cut himself short. I never thought about it that way. I'm not sure what to say. If you're short on words, but high on energy, you can expend some of that energy by carrying this box upstairs, said Maddie, gently kicking a large cardboard box that was resting underneath the counter. There's an alcove next to the bookshelf that would make a good home for this box. Kishan picked up the box, grateful for something to do with his hands. It was heavy enough that he had to make sure to lift his legs and not with his back, but not so heavy that he felt out of breath by the time he reached the top of the stairs. His breathing was heavy, but not labored. It was a good feeling. Kishan set the box down at the spot Maddie had designated and sat down for a moment, waiting for his heart rate to return to normal. It felt good to feel his heart beating inside of his chest. This is how it feels to be alive, he thought to himself. Damn, I'm going to miss it. Like, Maddie does raise a good point that funerals are for the living. And they're for people to say goodbye to their loved ones. Their friends and family. But I am also mildly curious about, like, you know, what people would say at my funeral now. How many would even attend? Probably my family. Mother, sister, our kids, our husband. Damn, probably only like 6. No, Larry might. 7? Maybe 8? Who knows? Maybe 9 if somebody brings like a spouse I'm unaware of. Or a friend. Maddie studied the gentleman at the counter as he raised his glass praisingly. Her eyes narrowed on the drink in his hand as he took a sip. There was something in the way the man carried himself that irritated Maddie. Just all of which, what, 2 of you, my average, 1 or 2 of my average viewers? I do appreciate you, don't get me wrong. There's something in the way the man carried himself that irritated Maddie. She was irritated, not mad. Nothing he had done was rude or otherwise improper. The entire platform. There's like at least 4 people on here. Goodness, that's so many. If anything, the thing that bothered her was the fact that he seemed too proper. The way his hand rested on the counter felt very deliberate. There was nothing lazy about the way he sat, perfectly upright. Or what he did with his hands. One on the glass, the other resting deliberately on the brim of the top hat he had placed on the counter when he walked in. Oh. No, he said. I'm afraid that's not it. He set the glass down. Was that better or worse than the previous one? Said Maddie. Closer, I think, said the man. But it's hard to tell. You just know it when you taste it, you know? Yeah, said Maddie. I know. She picked up the whiskey bottle and began pouring another drink. This time, 7 parts whiskey and to 4 parts water. She was using the glass that she'd discreetly marked with measuring points, and she was confident she was pouring to within a centimeter of precision. She set the glass over to him. "Try this one," she said. "That's still not it," said the man. "It's a fine drink, though. I'll gladly finish it." "Let me try one more time," said Maddie. "I assure you, this is a fine drink," said the gentleman. "What I experienced in London was, I'm sure, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It would be completely unreasonable for me to expect you to replicate it here. A good enough drink is perfectly good enough." Something in the way he said "good enough" made her even less willing to give up the fight. She grabbed the whiskey bottle and was about to begin pouring again when she felt a tap on her shoulder. "Shay." "Can I have a word with you?" said Shay. "Shoot." In back," said Shay. Maddie followed Shay into the kitchen. "You gotta stop trying to make the perfect water mix," said Shay. "You're not cracking some code here. What the guy considers the perfect whiskey is not going to be some perfect formula that will work for everyone from here until the end of eternity. Different people have different tastes." "I'm aware of that," said Maddie. "So why won't you give it up?" "Because I want to give him the perfect drink," said Maddie. "He already got the perfect drink in London 20 years ago," said Shay. "And every day that passes just makes the memory of that drink more and more unrealistically impressive." "I know," said Maddie. "That's why I have to make the perfect drink." I don't understand," said Shay. "Shay, that perfect drink in London 20 years ago, the one that he still remembers to this day as the best drink of his life. People are supposed to have memories like that about this place. This is where it's all supposed to come together. And that's why you can't back down?" "I can back down, but I'll find it very hard to forgive myself if I do," said Maddie. "Can I tell you a story?" said Shay. "Is this story going to suck?" You won't know until I tell it." "Sounds like a good reason not to tell it," said Maddie, crossing her arms. "I used to be a logger," said Shay. "You worked with lumber? You never told me." "I did tell you that I worked a lot of odd jobs," said Shay. "And I figured that that alone would be enough to communicate that I'm full of anecdotes about a large variety of subjects, even after you've known me for many, many years." "I've lived a lot longer than I've known you, so it's not like I could convey everything I've ever experienced in the time I've known you." "Au contraire," said Maddie. Conversations allow you to compress experiences. You could compress an entire day into an answer to the question, 'So, what did you do today?'" "You're right," said Jay. "But I don't like reducing big experiences to short, pithy statements about what I've done. I already feel dirty about just saying I used to be a logger. Because there's so much more to that experience than the job title. And I'd like to tell you more about being a logger, if you'll let me." "Alright," said Maddie. "Tell me about being a logger." "I was a logger for 2 weeks back in..." "Wait, 2 weeks? You were a logger for 2 weeks? It sounds to me like you were a non-logger who engaged in logging activity for 2 weeks. A logger is a title. You have to earn that shit." "Alright," said Shay. "Point is, I learned a thing or two about logging." "A thing or two, and probably not much else, if it was only 2 weeks. "You're right," said Shay. "Luckily, I only need to tell you one thing." "Oh boy," said Maddie. "I can hardly wait. What's the worthwhile thing you learned about logging during those 2 weeks?" "When you're cutting away at a tree, you actually have to cut away a lot of wood in order to weaken it enough to fell it," said Shay. "Yeah, no shit. That is, you're not merely cutting a gap in the tree. You're actually removing part of the tree to weaken it." "Yeah, I kinda figured," said Maddie. That's why partially cut trees have a notch in them. The logger just has to keep making the notch bigger until the tree collapses. Was that your lesson? You're not acting like yourself, said Shay. On the contraire, said Maddie. I'm behaving exactly like myself, and that seems to bother you. Shay grimaced. You're right. Can we still play at being teacher and student? Maddie sighed and put her back against the wall, looking down. Yeah? Alright, said Shay. He did his best to grin. Maddie gestured for him to go on. You were saying about cutting trees? Ah, right, said Shay. You need to create a notch. But to create the notch, you're removing part of the tree. You're taking a chip out of it. Uh-huh. It's really easy to get caught up in that when it's happening, said Shay. When chips are flying everywhere, the last thing you want to focus on is that big tree that's just standing still. You see a chip fly off somewhere, and your eyes and more importantly your attention naturally want to follow it, see where it lands. And that's when you start to miss with your swings. The secret is that you can't pay too much attention to the chips. Some of the chips are going to land at your feet. Some of them are going to fly off and harmlessly hit you in the chest. Others are going to disappear from your field of view. But you just have to focus on the tree. Focus on the impact you're making, not the tree. That's the secret of it. You need to focus on the big goal. Thank you for sharing the secret of logging with me, said Maddie. Though it can't be too well kept a secret if it's not shared by people with only 2 weeks of experience. So is that it? Said Maddie. That's it, said Shay. That's the story. And how you just have to let the chips fall where they may. Thanks for that bit of folksy wisdom, said Maddie. I'm saving the pretentious wisdom for another day, said Shay. Very thin line between folksy and pretentious when you are acting like a genius for having discovered the etymology of common idioms, said Maddie. That reminds me of a story about wire walking, said Shay. I'm glad, said Maddie. Maybe I'll even hear that story someday. She stepped out of the kitchen before Shay could continue. Maddie returned to the counter. How's that whiskey? She asked. Best thing to happen to me all day, said the gentleman. You could say that this glass of whiskey is the thing that made my day. Thanks, said Maddie. That's all I needed to hear. Is that it? I guess that's it. Bum 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 bum. God, the tunes in this game are just such a vibe. A teenage boy approaches the counter. Shoulders slumped forward, head down, eyes on the ground up until the moment he looked up to order a drink. He was old enough that he could have passed for a young adult with a better presentation, but the posture, coupled with the oversized backpack he was wearing, were a dead giveaway. Irrespective of his age, he was still just a kid. Can I get you a Coke? Or can I get a Coke? An order befitting of a kid. Yeah, I think we can manage that, said Maddie. Think fast, said Shay. Maddie turned around just in time to see an aluminum can hurtling about toward her. She almost caught it. The can rolled back towards Shay, who scooped it up off the floor. He hesitated a moment before setting it on the counter. No ice, right? No ice, right? Said Shay. The boy nodded. No. Or, yeah? Yes to no ice. Shay cracked open the can and poured it into a waiting glass, which then slid down the counter, pushing it gently enough that it came to a rest in front of the teenage boy. The boy grabbed the glass. Thanks, he said. He glanced around the room. If you're looking for a place to sit, there should be plenty of seats upstairs. The boy nodded and headed for the stairs, drink in hand. Plenty of seats down here, 2, said Maddie, turning to Shay. Yeah, said Shay. But I think upstairs is more Tuan's pace. What did you just call him? Tuan, said Shay. People have names, you know? That's the problem with having regulars, said Maddie. People expect you to remember their names. No, now that I think about it, Tuan probably wouldn't mind finding out that you don't know his name. Can't have your name on Maddie's shit list if she doesn't know it. Should he be on my shit list? Said Maddie. Nah, he's harmless, said Shay. Maybe a bit susceptible to peer pressure, but I think that's why he comes here. To meet with peers? To meet people who aren't his peers, said Shay. How many glum teenagers do you see around here? Too many, said Maddie. Maybe not enough, said Shay. Please tell me you don't actually mean that, said Maddie. Teenagers have the highest noise to spending ratio of any demographic. Not the glum ones, said Shay. And if I were a glum teenager, trying to find my place in the world and trying to carve out an identity for myself, I could imagine a worse place to do that. Do it then, right here. Teenagers can go be glum somewhere else, said Maddie. Whatever happened to proper teenage delinquency? Be careful what you wish for, said Jay. We've been mercifully delinquent-free for quite a while now. Proper teen delinquents, joint looter in coffee shops, said Maddie. They set things on fire, spray paint alleyways, and stay out past curfew. Woo! Does the city have a curfew for minors? It should, said Maddie. Teens need to be able to break the rules, and all the better if committing acts of vandalism at 11 p.m. gives them a 2 for 1. Maybe they should avoid delinquency and just stick to general mischief, said Jay. Oh no, said Maddie. We already have plenty of mischief around here, ever since Ashley set up shop. Got it, said Jay. Next time I see Tavon, I'll tell him he needs to be committing more crimes. What'll you do if he actually takes your advice? He won't, said Shay. Peer pressure only works if it's from up here. Someone of my age telling him he'll be cool if he starts swiping liquor won't do much to assure him that becoming a thief is a ticket to popularity and acceptance. So, find another teenager to tell him. I'll keep my eye out, said Shay. Is that it? Seems so. Alright, what is this? Walking to the sky. Yes? Ah, my tea's cooled off enough that I can drink it now. Hey, little guy, wanna play? Fetch. Maybe you'll have an easier time grabbing this. But what else do we have here? He ran his hand along the shelf and found another object to throw. A flat, dull ring of metal. Catch. Oh! I caught it! The bot took its prize and left. Oh, hey! She quickly broke eye contact, and her eyes started scanning the floor, as if she was looking for something. Tuan, not wanting to bother the girl, turned back to the shelf. She had clearly come upstairs looking for something, and it wasn't a conversation with him. Still, she seemed interesting, and he kinda wanted to talk to her. But, again, she wasn't taking the initiative, so neither was he. Her attention was directed towards the floor, not him. So, he was surprised to hear her voice again. Hey! Oh, Yeah? I was just wondering, did you happen to see a ring here? A ring? Like a... Oh, like a ring. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I took it off and left it here somewhere. I think I remember seeing a ring that looked like that. She hadn't actually described the ring to him, he realized. Are you sure? It's just a simple metal band, no fancy etchings or anything. A metal band. Not like a metallic, no, like a metallic kind of metal band. But, you know, like a piece of jewelry? Duan suppressed his urge to get into actually, argument about heavy rock versus metal, and which side of the divine Metallica fell on. You mean, just a metal ring? Yeah, it looks like I'm looking for a metal ring that looks like a metal ring. Kinda like a washer, right? But smooth? I guess? Duan's blood ran cold as he recalled the object he'd happily surrendered to the robot just minutes earlier. Oh yeah, I think I saw that. Something like that earlier. Or something like that. There was a little bot up here playing with some metal objects just before. One of them looked kinda like a ring? Oh great, is it? You don't need to. That's no problem. I could swear it was right here, around here. It wasn't. Sorry, I think I may have run off with it. Oh, you don't need to apologize. I mean, it's not like it was your fault, right? Yeah. He mentally cringed at the way he said haha instead of laughing like a normal person. Well, thanks for checking. I'm going to see if I can find that robot. It's me. I'm sorry? I mean, it's me that's going to help you find that ring. That's really not necessary. Tuan couldn't tell whether she simply didn't want to impose, or whether she really thought she didn't need his help. He decided to shoot his shot. I've got nothing better to do, and I know this place pretty well. You're new here, right? Let me lend you my limited knowledge of how this cafe is laid out. If it's not an imposition, I'm happy to help. To be honest, she was imposing a little. Then again, the situation was mostly his fault. Well, cool, I appreciate it. I think I got your name, by the way. I'm Tuan. I'm Hannah. Yeah. It's an infinite void. Unending bookshelves upon unending bookshelves. Ladders upon ladders, looping for eternity. Anyways, less melodrama. So this ring of yours have any special significance? Special gift, some kind of sentimental value? We hoped it wasn't. It's kind of a reminder of who I used to be. Back when I was going through my whole goth phase. I used to wear 10 rings every day, if you can believe it. Now I just have one. Hang on, goth phase? Yeah, you know, goth rings. It didn't last long though. Turns out going full goth is super expensive. I guess I was drawn to the idea back when I had a brief obsession with death. I also wrote a lot of really bad poetry. Pretty cringe, eh? Yeah, it's not that cringe. Can't judge a person by their poetry. That's my... Shut up, phone. And I was never goth, but I've been to a few emo concerts in my time. Sure, but you can go to emo concerts. Right, sure, but you go to emo concerts, so I'm not sure you're a good judge of what's cringe or not. I mean, the lion's share of bad poetry is definitely written by teenagers. Speaking from experience, eh? You, got any old Tumblr blogs I can look up? I bet you reblog some, real deep My Chemical Romance gift sets. No! Don't worry, I'm not actually going to try and find it. You've got plenty of chances to embarrass yourself in real life. Keep that shameful posting hidden. Burn it if you must. Yeah. Oh. So cold, but so tasty. I just don't think it's a bad thing to have written shitty poetry. The whole trying to find beauty in death thing feels pretty childish. Looking back, my emotions were turned up to 11 thanks to puberty. But I think there is more to it than that. I remember how it felt, becoming an adult, but not being treated like one. Still stuck in the kid-friendly version of life. If you lived out in the suburbs, everything is so sanitized, it feels fake. And teens run in the opposite direction of what's fake. We embrace the darkest thing we can find, which tends to be death. I guess as teenagers, we don't usually have to confront death. Duan kept his voice low, out of respect for the other patrons. He knew enough about the cafe to understand that not everyone was here to have a deep conversation about death. Maybe not most. I guess you could say I'm an exception. You want to ask a question, don't you? But you're not sure if you're allowed. That's a big assumption. Am I wrong? I'll take that as a yes. And I'll take your continued silence as further confirmation. Okay, you're not wrong. I just don't want to make you uncomfortable. The feeling's mutual. You're not sure you're allowed to ask, and I'm not sure I'm allowed to tell. You're definitely allowed to tell. Sorry, I don't mean to sound pushy. You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want, or tell me if you don't want to. You don't have to treat it like a question that needs answering. Not a question, more an invitation. Right. My mom was diagnosed with leukemia when I was 13. My father typically vanished as soon as he found out. I spent the next year dealing with crippling abandonment issues, not to mention the constant dread. There was more to this story, Tuan could tell, but this was Hannah's story to share, if she wanted. It's heavy. Thanks for trusting me with it. It was a dark time, but that stuff's all buried in the past now, never to be seen by anyone else ever again. Unless you count my old Tumblr, which I forgot the password to, so I guess that'll be out there forever. A monument to my shame. I think you can send a takedown request. The site has us to honor it. They send a message to the blog, and if it doesn't respond, away it goes. I wasn't really looking for a solution to that problem, but your advice sounds pretty useful, actually. I might give it a shot. I'm really good at offering unsolicited assistance. For example, one time this girl came to me looking for a missing ring, and I told her I'd help her find it. Oh, cool. I hope the story ends with you actually helping her find it. I don't actually remember how the story ends. Or how the story ended. But I think the big plot twist happened when we decided to study the bookshelf. Like the bookshelf we're standing in front of? Just so. Can we stop now? I appreciate the commitment to the bit, but the ring's not here. The bookshelf had a few books, a few nooks and crannies a butt could hide in, or hide a ring in. You sure it's okay to move stuff around like that? It'll be fine as long as you don't sneeze. Is it really that fragile? Oh yes. The shoebox ROG is not a plane known for its sturdiness. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I caught that. What's this thing called? The shoebox ROG. Short for Rise Off Ground. It's a classic, capable of a self-sustained indoor flight for up to 40 seconds. Don't tell me you know every model every model on these shelves. Nope, just the Bostlewood airplanes. When did you become such an expert? Summer camp, I guess preteen boys just find that kind of stuff fascinating. I sure did. And I'll carry that obsession to the grave. And there I was, worried I'd missed out on something important by never going to summer camp. Actually, you kinda did. I'm sure that the physics of a rubber band powered airplane. No, I mean, like, the other stuff. Well, I'm not a big fan of archery or netball either. Do you think people remember summer camp because they got to play with bows and arrows? I always figured learning how to fish or shoot an arrow was meant to be something, some kind of delightful experience. Sadly, it's something I never got to enjoy. The bows and arrows are probably the least interesting part of the archery station. The fun part is going to the archery station during your free time and running into a friend and saying, "Hey, I haven't seen you since breakfast." Breakfast is a really important part of the summer camp experience, huh? Well, yeah, kind of is. You're all sharing breakfast at the same time in the same hall. You get to see everyone. I think I could have been inviting my friends to breakfast this whole time. If only we'd arranged to meet at an archery station too. The arranging is the part that misses the magic. It's, serendipity. That's the good bit. Right. So you go to summer camp to have serendipitous encounters with your friends. Nope. Nope. I didn't know anyone the first time I went. Then how did you serendipitously encounter all of these friends? You can't just make friends while you're there. Sounds like hard work, starting from square one. Actually, it's not. Crammed all together at summer camp, you fall into friendships like it's natural. You meet loads of other kids, spend every waking moment with them, and then never see them again. That's fun. Knowing that you'll lose these friends when you eventually leave, yeah. When you've only got a little time together, you really go all out making the most of that time. Anyway, doesn't look like the ring's here either. Good news is there's still plenty more more ground to cover. That's good news? I'd have heard of it, and if our search radius was a bit smaller. It'd be worse if we didn't have more places to look, right? If it's not here, no need to keep digging around. You're the first person I've met who seems to see good in expiring relationships. I think part of me is afraid that all of mine are temporary. The opposite of that is much worse. For example, when someone new moves into your neighborhood, it's like, oh, we should have them for dinner sometime. Sometime is meant to be next week, but then it turns to next month, and you keep putting it off until eventually you spend years living next door to people you know nothing about. There wasn't a sense of urgency to the relationship, so it never evolved past how do you do's, you know? Like, those people in your life who are always there. You take it for granted that they'll never leave and forget to enjoy the moments you have together. Then you wake up and they're gone. The best friends I ever had were the ones I built the ones with a built-in expiration date. You've thought about this a lot. Yeah, I guess I have. Is that why you enjoy going to emo concerts? Sounds like a great opportunity to make a friend, spend a few hours with them, and then never see them again. It was kind of a one-time thing, really. I usually listen to music when I'm on my own. That's all of the Fall Out Boy album I listened to every night when I cried into my pillow. Year 8 sucked. Is that 8th grade? How old are you in year 8? Which generation is that? The music was that bad, huh? Yes. You are yes years old at year 8. The lyrics made me feel the pain and futility of my own existence. A lot of my early teen years were filled with the sense that nothing meant anything. While I listened to that album, it felt like I was staring into the abyss. The music wasn't bad either. Oh, good. Because taking shots at Fall Out Boy as his fighting words. And I'm still wondering, like, if the album made you feel like shit, why did you keep coming back to it? I actually enjoyed burying my face in my pillowcase and loudly sobbing as I'm overwhelmed by a creeping feeling of existential angst. I get that some people enjoy a good cry from time to time, but I think you might enjoy existential angst a little too much. No, you misunderstand me. I said I enjoyed burying my face in my pillow and loudly sobbing as I'm overwhelmed by a creeping feeling of existential angst. That's the name of the third track on the album. Wait, is that real? I genuinely can't tell if you're lying or not. Lying or simply bullshitting. if I'm trying to entertain, then it's not really lying. Maybe parody or satire, or plain old storytelling. Satire doesn't work if it's indistinguishable from the truth. That title isn't an obvious exaggeration. I'd expect that from them. What if I told you my favorite song of theirs was actually I'm like a lawyer with the way I'm always trying to get you off? What? Are these actual Fall Out Boy songs or albums? Xbox, I need you to Google if that's a real song. I'm like a lawyer with the way I'm always trying to get you off. What does that even mean? I'd assume you were trying to flirt with me because there's no way that's a real song. And you assume it's a flirting attempt to why? Well, it's suggestive? If I had to describe it in one word, I'd say it's lewd? And if I told you my favorite Fall Out Boy song was Bang the Doldrums. Crude! I've got a dark alley and a bad idea that says you should shut your mouth. I have so many questions as well, Xbox. I'm gonna need to look up a list of Fall Out Boy songs after this. Rude! This ain't a scene, it's an arms race. Okay, that definitely sounds like a song. Feud. Our lawyers made us change the name of the song so we wouldn't get... I know that one's a real one. That one is a real one, I know it. Sued! Well, that's all there is to see of the, mezzanine? No ring, no bot, so I'm sorry I couldn't be more helpful. Don't be silly. You helped me check all the nooks and crannies. And, besides, you kept me company. Frustrated searching becomes a heck of a lot more enjoyable when you're hanging out with an alright guy. Huh, nice. Could be, yeah. That's a solid theory. Yeah, come with it, or are we done looking for now? What if we, and hear me out here, what if we did not do that and just looked for up here instead? I've done enough walking for now. You want to sit down? Nah, sitting's overrated. I'm really into leaning against things. It's the new hip thing. Most of those are real? I fucking love that. Like, I knew the last one of, like, was real, because, like, I can't remember what the original title they wanted to go with was. But they made so many questionable, like, album or song names just to fuck with their, like, album and, like, song, like, whatever, like the publisher, I think was the word. You're terrible. Yeah. This place is pretty cool. That's alright. Interesting crowd down there. All types. Which of course means we've got that one guy sporting the blazer hoodie combo. Hey, like, hey, look at me. I'm so cool, but also super chill. Wow, you're one of those guys, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just dunk on your fashion paramour? Nah, those kinds of guys can be real douchebags. What if he wasn't? He wouldn't be wearing the blazer hoodie combo. Oh no, the blazer hoodie combo is something he has a deep sentimental attachment to. His father left him when he was young, leaving him only his grandfather, who he looked up to as a father figure. When his grandfather tragically passed, Blazer Hoodie's older brother took that place. He loved his older brother, who ran track and was the coolest jock in town. The blazer was all he had left of his grandfather, and the hoodie was his brother's last gift before heading interstate for uni. But his brother was killed in a sudden car compactor accident that winter, and he never came home from uni. So whenever our boy finds himself feeling lonely, he puts on his grandpa's blazer and his brother's hoodie, and he goes out to drink to their memory. Have you been waiting to use that this whole time? Nah, I just like to think about people's inner lives. It's what I do on the tram. When everyone else is buried in their phones, I'm watching people. Damn. The only way I can get myself out of the house is by telling myself, nobody is watching, nobody cares. And they're all in their own little worlds. And you have ruined my day. You brigand. I'll never walk free again. They don't see you. They see whatever they want to project onto you. That guy down there? Maybe he is just a douchebag. All we have are our theories. And those reveal more about us than anyone else, don't you think? I've never thought a day in my life. I don't intend on starting now. Clearly. Look, it's easy to play on stereotypes, saying that guy dresses like a wanker. But where's the fun in that? People aren't always what they seem. I like coming up with dark and macabre backstories, just the worst stuff. Darker than the one you just told? Yeah, but don't worry about it. Come on, you wanna? No, I'm not going to. Sorry, it's one of my rules. Some people find healing in sharing dark thoughts. But I don't think I'm great at gauging what's good for me when sharing. I end up oversharing, and then I spiral until I'm in a bad place. So, no stories for tonight. Wait, all of those were real songs?! That's kind of amazing, actually. Are you wondering if you're allowed to tell? Because I think we're at the point where you shouldn't have to wait for me to ask. My rule isn't to protect the audience, it's to protect me. And, buddy, we're still at the point where there are still questions I'm not gonna answer. That doesn't mean I'm bothered by you asking. I mean, there are always going to be topics that aren't on the table. But you won't know until you ask. That's a good way to look at it. And here I was, worried I'd ruined the mood. I've never shied from a somber mood. A mood getting dark and serious doesn't mean it's ruined. After all, some people like it dark. Yourself included? Hey, you can't have light without darkness, right? Sounds like a Fall Out Boy lyric to me. Good thinking, though. That's why I start every day with my hands in the toaster. The rest of the day feels amazing after that. I grew up north of Brisbane. Do you know what the weather is like there? Nope, but I do know that. I like talking about the weather to get away from unpleasant topics. There's so many checkers boards. It's downright tropical. Not a bad day in sight. Good weather all year round. Stormy days don't exist for the purpose of this conversation. But some days it'd be bloody gorgeous out, and I'd go for a walk and see nobody out. Just a total ghost town. Sounds like a lame place to live. Yeah, kinda. The thing is, without bad weather, there are no good days. Every day is the same. It's boring. But here in Melbourne, nobody squanders a good day. After winter, they're clawing at the walls for a hint of sunshine. And that's your case for dark and melancholic conversations. I mean, if everything's at a 10, it might as well be at a 1. There's no scale. I think it'd be perfectly fine if I only ever saw the happy parts. It's a contradiction, isn't it? That the people most obsessed with finding happiness always seem to be the most unhappy. Well, duh. They're so obsessed with pursuing happiness because they themselves don't have it. The opposite of happiness isn't sad. I think it's emptiness, or a general lack of feeling. You know? Comfortably numb. Like, clinical depression isn't just about being miserable all the time. You're not in a constant state of sadness, more like a constant state of nothing. Speaking from experience? That's a personal question, and I was hoping for a personal answer. You don't get to wax philosophically about your emotions, and then suddenly clam up when I'm the one asking you about them. What kind of weird ass checkers are they playing? They're not moving pieces; they're just adding new ones to the board. A medical condition goes a little beyond the realm of talking about emotions. Let's just say that I'm no longer medicated for clinical depression. No longer, as in you were at some point? One point? Yes, that was my extremely subtle implication. Great. Let's dance around the subject. I love that. Why make it easy? You really love talking, huh? Is that a compliment? Not at all. It's just, you don't come across as quite so outgoing. I wasn't always, but you're saying they're the results of an extensive, self-inflicted deprogramming effort. That's funny. I guess I can kind of see it. But I don't want to assume, given that you're... It's okay, you can say Asian. If you're trying to deduce my childhood based on stereotypes for second generation Asian kids, you're not far off. Yeah. Growing up in a household where being well behaved was synonymous with being quiet and out of the way, you tend to end up pretty meek. Huh. When you talk about Asian parents, I was thinking more about, like, academic achievements. Oh, you're not there either. Like many immigrant parents, they want their son to be more successful than they are. But my mother was a medical degree, and my father was an OD. I'm not sure what OD stands for. And I'm still not quite sure what's supposed to be another level above that. Operator's degree? Oof, sorry about your dad. No, Doctor of Optometry. It was a big disappointment to my mother's parents, who were hoping their daughter would go for ophthalmologist instead. Ah, that's embarrassing. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but my family is strict and is the strictest of the strict. Like, graduate second in your class, then have your mother tell you at graduation that you could have been first if you hit the books a bit harder level strict. Dang. Walking talking stereotypes, how dare they? My mom never dropped that shit on me. On our drives to her chemotherapy. Nope. Tonk. Woof. I can't beat that. No, you mean you don't want to spend the day dwelling on the worst moments of your life? Come on, dredging up childhood traumas is everyone's favorite hobby. Where's your sense of macabre? Usually I have to pay to dredge up my childhood traumas with someone. Alright, I accept cash card and signed photos of Brendan Urie. Alternative, we can't just talk about happy things instead. How do you like cats? All cats are bastards. Agreed. So much for happy thoughts. But they are happy thoughts. Cats may hate me, and I may hate them, but I like looking at them. That's probably my spiciest take. Tuan was enjoying the easy rapport he found with Hana, sometimes rare and precious. Something rare and precious. But with that thought came the sense of panic at the idea of losing this feeling, of losing. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I felt a bit uneasy on my feet there for a second. This place, it kinda does a number on you. You can say that again. This place kinda does a number on you. It was a lie. The anxiety is... The anxiety in his chest, clawing at his lungs. Was it an affliction brought on by his presence in the cafe? His fear of loss made him just like the rest of the patrons. I'm sorry I've wasted so much of your time. Well, you don't have to apologize for that. If you're spending my spending my time, then I guess I'm spending yours too. And for a moment, two said nothing, simply enjoying each other's company. Hear you? Shh. Can you hear it? Hear it? Is this your ring? That's the one. That's her middle finger. Great. Guess we're done here then. Yeah, great. I'll, see you around. Sure, see you around. Tuan watched her go, regretting how quickly he dismissed her. His mind raced, searching for an excuse to call her back and continue their conversation. Was he meant to yell something like, "Hey, you've got spaghetti on your sweater"? With every step she took, the warmth in him faded until she was gone and he was left empty and cold. Damn it. Is she dead? Oh, hey, it's still going. Tuan loved darts. People were hard to understand, but a dartboard was simple. Circles and squares, and a sharp little missile thrown barehanded by him, a self-proclaimed dartist. He'd honed his skills on school nights, while his parents were too engrossed in their work to pay attention to him. It was a relatively quiet game when played skillfully, so it never made enough sound to draw their ire. What had started as a distraction was now a secret love. Secret because what self-respecting teenager played darts? But he was not a self-respecting teenager. Not in the slightest. Yo! Hey, I haven't seen you since breakfast. Ah. Oh, hey! You know, that would only make sense if we'd actually had breakfast together, right? Shut up. He's got a chain-smoking dart hustler? I wish. So you're not gonna teach me how to play? Well, nah, I'm really not any good. Dude, you just hit 2 bullseyes in a row. Yeah, that's the problem. Each segment of the board is worth a different number of points. You start with a fixed number of points, usually 5 of 1 or 3 of 1. And then you throw darts and deduct the amount of from your number. The trick is, all my interest is gone instantly. How'd you get so good at that? Practice. That's the full extent of my dart knowledge anyway. So, you're not missing out on anything. And besides, there are far more interesting things around here than this dartboard. More interesting than a dartboard? This stage just gets better and better. Then follow me. Where are we off to? What is it they say? Show, don't tell? Oh, he murdered us. Where are you off to? This isn't our final destination. I have something cooler to show you. If you're talking about what's at the end of the catwalk, I've been there before. I came in that way, actually. The catwalk's not interesting. Then, where are you going? Going down? Ah! You think you're funny. Often. But you know when you just want to eject yourself from a conversation? When you find yourself in a social situation that you can't wait to get out of? Wow, rude. No, I never get the chance to make those big grand exits that I'm always dreaming about. Sometimes you gotta just seize the moment or whatever. You'd rather make a dramatic exit than keep talking? I allow myself to do it sometimes, as a treat. So, what now? So now what? Make a grand exit? Making a grand exit wasn't the only reason I jumped down here. So that wasn't the main attraction? You wanted something interesting? I'm just trying to deliver. You can jump down. I don't have feet. I don't have the feet of an athlete. Bend your knees when you land. It'll soften the landing. The impact force will travel from your feet through to your hip bone. You're really eloquent when you got a captive audience, aren't you? How dare you attempt to advertise the forbidden word! The forbidden word! Yes, young cricket, don't lock your knees. Yes, young cricket, do not lock your knees. The more you say, the less inclination I have to listen. You talk in paragraphs, my dude. Whatever. Huh. My methods work. Oh, what's this little guy doing here? These are the little wait bots that make up for the lack of employees in the cafe. They're all different. I love it. Do you think it climbed down here on its own? It's not outside the realm of possibility. I wouldn't bother it. Try and stop me. Boop. Well, probably shouldn't mess with it. You sure? Someone probably left it here for a reason, and now they're gonna come looking for it and find that somebody booped it. How would you feel if you were booped by a giant fleshy creature? What? I'm just saying. This is a weird spot to fight a robot. It might have been put here to do a specific job. I think it's bored. Can we take it with us? I really, really, really think we shouldn't. Fine. Is that what you wanted to show me? No, it's just, this is still the journey. Oh, cool. Well, we'll get there soon enough. Is it safe for us to be down here? Doesn't matter. Or we're young, indestructible. But because we're young, we have to take risks. If the danger exists, I simply close my eyes and pretend not to see it. But for the real though, I don't think there's anything down. But for real though, I don't think there's anything down here that hasn't already been stripped for parts. The robot was booped. So, we probably won't trip into a giant shredder or anything. Or be crushed by giant bouncing logs. If I see one coming, I'll pretend that I don't, so you can enjoy the surprise. You're so thoughtful. Come on. Last one there's a rotten egg. You don't even know where we're going. Or sup, you don't want to trip? Didn't you just say something about ignoring danger? I mean, I'm not an idiot. Could have fooled me. Rude. Actually, given the amount of jagged, rusty metal I'm seeing around here, you should probably be at least a little careful. Anna? Oh, jeez. What are you doing up there? Be careful. Looks safe to me. You never know what could be unstable or ready to collapse. I'm just looking in the mirror for that. Okay, but for real, why'd you bring me here if we were just gonna chaperone me to death? We're not at our final destination yet. Oh, then what are we hanging around for? So, what's dangerous around here? Jagged, rusty metal, Tinnitus probably. It's not gonna poke through your shoes, hopefully, but try not to land on it with your face. Noted. And am I being too much? I should note, at this point, I'm very bad at evaluating risks. Oh, really? I shouldn't have followed you down here. I'm gonna have a double tinnitus by the time we leave. Not aiming for triple tinnitus? Or tetanus? Tinnitus is the ringing in your ears. Tetanus is like what you get from sharp, rusty metal. I try to keep my expectations modest. I was not expecting this little story to be so long. I'm enjoying it, though. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. A wall. Amazing. Hold on, guys, I need to load disc 2. If this is meant to be more interesting, I have bad news for you. This hallway tells its own story. Well, it's too dark to read. There's just nothing happening here. Why hasn't anyone taken the time to make this place nicer? Maybe the interior designer was into rustic industrial. Oh, there's no accounting for taste. What a cop-out, there's no accounting for taste. Hey, the human mind is complex. How am I supposed to know? The human mind is complex. Okay, Einstein. Well, actually, Einstein was primarily a physicist, not a neuroscientist. Ah, you must kill at parties. Yeah, chicks dig me. I guess I can see it. Oh. Careful, don't hurt yourself. Do I like someone who's worried about hurting themselves? You're looking more like one of those tour guides who has to walk backwards everywhere. They're not known for being prone to accidents, are they? Hey, you never know. I had this friend who was touring uni campus. His guide was so distracted by walking and talking that he toppled right into a fountain. And what's more... No, that whole robot. Don't say it. You told me so. I shouldn't laugh, but, well, here I am. Laughing. At you. Good job, little buddy. Can I pet this one? Yeah, I guess so. Why did you do that? Why did you do what? Tell me it was okay to pet him. I thought you wanted to pet him. Yeah, I wanted to. I wasn't asking for your permission. It seemed to really bother when I said not to touch them. The other times, I mean. Oh. I don't need your permission. I was asking your opinion. Yeah, since you seem to be such an expert on this place? Okay, any risks associated with what I'm about to do? Help me make an informed decision. So imagine my utter shock when I actually listen to you for once, and literally get bitten for my troubles. I'm sorry. Are you okay? I'm fine. Or I'm fine. I'm fine. I wouldn't want to disappoint you by saying it would be a bad idea. Stop being a coward. Tell me what you think. Not what you think I want to hear. I'm sorry. You're forgiven. But that little milk bottle shit isn't. Pinchy bastard. Hey, that little milk bottle shit tripped to me first. Yeah, and it was hilarious. Well, I hope you've at least learned the dangers of backwards walking and talking. I have. But how about you? Definitely not. Ladies and Hannah, we've reached the final stop of this nondescript hallway. You really gonna gonna keep saying nondescript? Mr. doesn't own a thesaurus? Dull, sterile, boring, boom. There's no better adjective in my nondescript opinion. Ever read any Lovecraft? Ever read any Lovecraft? Half his monsters were so scary that his narrators couldn't describe them. He really took the easy route with that one. Who did? Lovecraft. Wait, that was his real name? Yeah. No wonder he was like that. What else would a guy with that name be known for? Crafting. Love. You got me. They emerged into a storeroom, shelves stacked with dusty jars full of mysterious glowing liquids. Hannah wondered briefly if any of their contents were edible. Huh? Why are these all way out here? Try reading the labels. I can't read whatever language it is. It's Latin. Casual flex there's smarty pants. I have an ad hoc understanding of Latin. Words, phrases, etc. I'm going to kick your ass. And you would be well justified in doing so. How long were you holding out onto that hilarious Latin joke for? Since I read it on the internet. I wanted to understand the lyrics of One-Winged Angel, so I was doing a bit of research. Latin nerds love their wordplay. Can you actually read any of these labels? None of them say Sephiroth. None of them say Sephiroth, so no. All I can tell you is that if you see Memento Mori, you probably shouldn't drink it. Is that the Latin word for poison? Remember your mortality. Oh, I'm very aware of my mortality, thanks. So why the obsession with this particular song? It's from a video game. You played with your friends? When you played with friends? Nah, single player. I'm not good at connecting with my peers. And I thought we were connecting pretty well. You think we're peers? Because it appears you're out of my league. Aw, shucks. It's true. 3 cheers for low standards. Hannah's eyes sparkled when she laughed, and for once, Tuan struggled to feel anything but warm. Yo, check out that one. I told you already, I can't read it. Yeah, but look at it. It looks like there's something trapped inside. Creepy. Should we do something about it? Why are you asking me? Oh. Whatever's in it wants to get out. I'm not sure that it's a good idea to mess with this stuff. What if it's a genie or something? Oh no, is that the sound of impending litigation? I guess I can't stop you either way. Thank you. The warm glow suffused them both. Then, in a heartbeat, it was gone. Did you hear that? I think so. Do you think we did something we shouldn't have? Me. 2 hands touched that jar, and they were both yours. You were at least an accomplice. I get that feeling, the feeling we unleashed something. I got that impression as well. Was it a mistake? It was gonna shatter on the ground anyway. I don't really think we changed the outcome of the situation. Well, even if it did set the evil spirit free, I'm glad we came here. I'm glad we came here too. You ever get that feeling like you've already committed to a decision, but you're not yet sure if it'll lead to something great or something painful? Are we still talking about that jar? Or the jar? Yes, definitely. Let's get a move on. Sure, our final destination's right through here. Holy shit, it's actually pretty. Dwan's heartbeat thundered in his ears. It's oh my god, what the hell? How did... Afraid of heights? I think it's perfectly natural to be a bit spooked when confronted with something that could be lethal. Lethal? Nothing to be afraid of. Scared me for a sec there, hotshot? Oh yeah? He felt an absence when she withdrew her hand. When I thought to myself, I hope he's falling for me. This isn't exactly what I had in mind. But, like, that doesn't seem pleasant. The fall, I mean. Why jump if you don't have to? The gut-wrenching fear only lasts a few seconds. You get used to it. I can only imagine. What I want to know is why you felt compelled to do it in the first place. I just wanted to feel something. Sometimes horror movies just aren't enough. I get it. Yeah, it's just, you know, like I said earlier. Better to feel something than nothing sometimes. Is that downtown? I think so. But I don't really catch the train into town that often. I don't recognize anything specific, but the Yara's there, so the rest of the city must be too. Reckon anyone can see us from down there? I don't know. The city looks so different from up here. Yeah, it feels lived in. Most cities do. That's why they're cities. People live there. But some cities just seem sterile, you know? Housing estates and golf courses and toll roads and on a grid. Everyone commuting to their office job. in a skyscraper that's the same as all the other ones. This one's pretty to look at. Is it safe to sit there? Like, if you can step off this platform, it would be crazy to me to be shy about letting my legs dangle over the edge. Sitting here, like this, reminds Tuan of being 7 and swinging his legs dangling over a balcony edge with his friends. They got yelled at for it because it was dangerous, but the association stuck. It had been a long time since he'd felt so carefree. At a glance, Melbourne's sprawl seemed vivid and meticulously detailed, but the more he tried to pick out individual features, the more his vision blurred. From up here, everything ran together like unmixed paint. Everything was just an indistinct part of a larger world. Goodness! I will be right back. I need to put my frozen yogurt back in the freezer before it completely melts. It was not... I've been reading this for the past 30 minutes, like, man, once this particular story bit ends, I will go do that, but, like, I can't. It's been, like, over 30 minutes. Why is there hair in my mouth? There we go, I got it. Is that a cat hair? Curse you, kitty cat. I'm back? Okay. I thought I'd be able to see my house from here. But I can't. Actually, I can't recognize anything. I know it's Melbourne, but it feels like a dream. Do you think we're dreaming? I think I might be. You could be a figment of my imagination. Ha! I was thinking it was the other way around. I suppose it's all about perspective. Considering how many dreams end with the sensation of falling, this is certainly an appropriate place for it to end. I don't really want it to. Me neither. Aww. If you just brought me here for us to stare longingly into each other's eyes, we could have just stayed down in the cafe. I'm just enjoying the view. Very funny. So, when are you going to hurry up and make a move? Oh! It took you so long. Far easier to say something clever than to say something sincere. That's so cute! Oh, are they gonna kiss? Are they gonna kiss? I feel like it's a little fast for it, but... Oh. She okay? I lied to you earlier. About what? Remember when I told you about my mom's leukemia diagnosis? I was 13 years old and my dad left us because of it? Yeah, I remember. It wasn't the whole truth. She wasn't the one who got the diagnosis. This hair isn't mine. 6 months of chemo wasn't kind to me. I felt like a fraud every time I wore someone else's hair, so I bought this from a costume shop. If I was gonna lie to the world about having hair, it might as well be something dazzling. Can you say something, please? I guess it's not a surprise. You only make fun of people when it's trivial stuff. When you start cracking wise about cancer, I started getting the inkling that it wasn't about someone else. That obvious, huh? Not at first. But I feel like I've gotten to know you well enough by now. You interrupted something. Yeah, I was going to. I know. If you still want to, Sorry, mood's dead. My fault. I need to reset the scene. How about we go for a walk? I think that'd help. As the last vestiges of the terminal faded into the distance, Tuan realized they were entering a world of their own construction. There were no rules here. They were well and truly free from everything else. Hey, he didn't know what they were walking towards, but in the end, did it really even matter? Oh! For a fleeting moment, Tuan felt oddly at peace, despite everything. Hannah had trusted him with her true self. But with affirmation came fear. Fear of what came next, of the moment after that, and the one after that. He closed his eyes, suddenly finding it hard to breathe. Hannah's gentle touch on his back pulled him back into reality. Are you okay? I'm fine. It's just an anxiety attack. Don't worry about me. Just? Was it the height from sitting on the edge? No, they never happen when I'm there. Never. It's only when everything's fine, when everything's safe. Because when everything's good, I know it only takes a bad moment to bring the whole house of cards crashing down. Was it what I said before? Not what you said. What I didn't say. What didn't you say? I knew. I've known cosplayers. I can recognize a good wig. You knew? Yes. I wouldn't have had the courage to keep talking to you otherwise. The best friendships I've ever had were the ones with a built-in expiration date. Yeah, okay. I think I get it now. All Tuan saw in her eyes was betrayal. Is that what I am to you? A girl with an expiration date? It's not you, it's me. I'm so used to people being transient in my life. It wasn't so scary to talk to you if... I'm sorry, I brought you here because I wanted you to feel normal for just one night. I wanted that too. To leave everything behind and feel normal, even if only for a few hours. And I did. Thank you. Hannah? Tuan felt them teetering on the brink of something. What was she feeling? The same dread? The same longing? Tuan felt Hannah shaking in his arms, hot tears soaking through the fabric of his shirt. But not just her tears. He realized he was crying with her. Tuan wished a train would pull up to the platform to whisk them away so they'd never have to return home. He knew Hannah felt the same way, but that's not how life worked. Are you ready? As long as it's with you. Just don't let go. Hannah's fingers dug into his skin in the first terrifying seconds. He couldn't blame her. Upside down, falling like a rock towards the center of Melbourne, Tuan saw something new in Hannah's eyes. It seemed as though the wind had stolen their words, leaving only silence. They walked in lockstep, each dragging their feet. I don't think we can walk any slower. Try me. I can do this all day. You came out tonight looking for something very specific. Yeah, I'm not sure that's me. I think it might be. But if it's not, again, I guess I'm okay with that too. At first glance, Tuan had thought the shelves of jars were just thrown together afterthoughts, nothing more than a forgotten mess. But now he realized that each jar seemed perfectly created for its contents, as if they were made for each other. Hannah seemed far away, perhaps also thinking of the jars, or perhaps of something else entirely. You think I'm carrying around a lot of pain, don't you? Hard not to, after all this. But it's not you. I've been thinking about it myself. I assumed you were carrying a lot of pain, not because you did anything to make me think that. It's just easier to cope when I assume everyone else is going through the same stuff as I am. That said, I reckon I've figured something out about you. You like me. No way, I thought this hand-holding business was strictly platonic. I want my money back. I just gave you a piece of information, you dingus. What? Do you expect me to do something flowery? I like you anyway. Speech? Or did you expect me to do some flowery I like you anyway speech? Because that's not really my thing. You've got baggage. That's part of who I am. You don't get to pick and choose. And that's okay. I like you. I like all of you, Hannah. Every little thing that's ever happened to you has shaped you into the person standing next to me. And I really, really like that person. You're right. I don't get to pick and choose. So, when I say, I like all of you, I want you to know that I mean it. You're not the first person who's ever told me something like that before. But you're the first person I've believed. That won't... The worst way to lie to someone is to tell them what you think they want to hear. Yeah, you get it. Are you ready to do this? I'm ready, as long as you're doing it with me. Then don't let go. Tuan waited for the moment he knew was coming, for Hannah's form to fade, as all spirits did upon leaving the terminal. But the moment never came, and there she was, on the other side, her warm fingers intertwined with his. Are you? I'm still here. I go in for my last round of chemo tomorrow. So, are you gonna hurry up and kiss me already? Oh my god! Ah! I'm so happy for them. Wow! That was such a kind and heart. Oh, it was so heartwarming. Ah, ah. Alright, I need to check something real quick down here. Billiards 2. Beth 1. Yeah. Oh no. I am stuck. That's me spamming WASD. Alright. Yep, nope. Okay, I'm gonna back out to the title and go back in because I'm pretty sure that resets our location. What are you over there, Xbox? You have something to say to me? You have something to Yeah. So yeah, we just aren't touching Beth's story. It could be the most heartwarming thing in the very end, but that I am not going to be reading that for those first couple, like that first one. Well, day 2, 8:15 p.m. outside the terminal. Ugh, I don't have the energy for this, especially with everyone watching me. I hope we packed enough conductors. My order form was pretty vague. I shouldn't be worrying about the conductors when I'm not even sure I can pull the whole thing off without some sort of major screw-up happening. Supplier knew what I wanted the conductors for anyway, so he would have packed enough. And he knows that I have God actually helping me. But with what, Madeline? Piss off, Ned. Rude. You should respect your elders, you know? God, listen to you. The council made you soft, didn't it? Oh, respect your elders. Follow all our totally arbitrary rules, or we'll make up some cheap reason to destroy your business. My name's Ned, and I love rules. You done? Yep. Cool. You sound wounded. You should be nicer. Wow, so come back. What was it, you guys, what was it that guys you killed said? Oh Christ, I am shot. Oh no, woe is me. Just a little throwback or humor for you. Did I strike a nerve? Did I just what? Maddie? When Ned spoke next, it was in a deep, dark cadence, steeped in guilt and self-loathing. If Maddie had been able to see his eyes, she would have faced a withering glare. We're rapidly reaching a point of no return. I can no longer promise to shield you from the consequences of your actions. What you just did there, quoting one of my victims' dying words at me, that was low, even for you. Frankly, I'm disgusted. Dare to poke at my guilt? You dare? Let's talk about guilt, shall we? I don't suppose you might have anything weighing on your conscience right now, would you? As I thought. They may still weigh heavily on me, but I am absolved of my sins. I've had 100 years to process that, and to redeem myself through my actions. You? Your sins are fresh. There are lance marks on your soul, deep cuts in your aura. Swallow your arrogance, novice. I know what you did. And I can't wait to see how you plan to make this right. Episode 5. Rainy Moods. Day 2, 8:30 p.m. The terminal. Oh my god, they're here! They're here! Oh my god! guys! Oh my god! Yes, Queen! Fuck, I'm so sorry. Tuan, age 16. Thinks he's smart. Not antisocial, just shy. Read a bunch of Wikipedia articles on optometry, and considers himself somewhat of an expert. Hannah, age 16. Knows she's too smart for her own good. Hobbies, people watching. Self-indulgent teenage angst. Taking advantage of the fact that she's too smart for her own good. So I'm not sure that alcohol actually makes you feel anything. In fact, going by its chemical properties, I'd say it's the opposite. Shut up, dork. We're planning a heist. Metaphysical debates about alcohol can come after. But this isn't metaphysics. I'm just talking about simple chemical interactions with your brain. Please take the energy you're putting into pedantry and redirect it towards the plan. The plan? The plan. What's the plan? God damn it, I love these two. They're great. I was thinking I could just reach over the bar and grab the first bottle I see. Sounds risky. Very chaotic neutral. Hold on. Alright, so we got, Ned, fuck, I can't remember his name, but he's the dead one. There's the child. There's Maddie. I'm pretty sure that's, I was thinking that's, Shay. And what's your alignment then? So that's Hannah. That's, Tuan. Neutral good? Uh-huh. I'd say I was lawful neutral, but that's the coward's option. Yeah. But getting back to the plan. Oh. Use your own pedantry to distract you. I was absolutely part of the plan. Oh, so a little faith in me? Gotta minimize liabilities here. You are out here playing checkers, and I'm playing 6-dimensional upside-down laser chess. Shit! I've galaxy brain this, and now I'm holding the fruits of my labor. Don't you mean our labor? If you insist. Give me a closer look at that. What sort of fruit did we pluck from the booze tree? Really stretching that metaphor out, huh? Yep. I don't recognize the language off this label. But let me look. What the hell? I don't recognize it either. Maybe it's a cipher? Who would make you read a cipher just to know what you're drinking? A sadist. Oh, we could ask Maddie what it is. She's a sadist, right? Yeah, that idea sounds great. Let's go find her. Apart from the fact that we specifically nicked it from her. Alright. You're meant to be the lawful one here, dude. We agreed on neutral good. Me not challenging your assertion does not make it an agreement. Regardless. Wait, hold on. I sense a dark presence. Do you feel it? No, I don't feel anything particularly spooky in there. Yeah, me neither. Ah! Hello, children. I see you've stooped to petty thievery. Alas, sprung! Can't believe my heist career is over so quick. Aw, don't give up on your dreams, kids. Speaking of, you know what happens when you drink this? I was assuming some sort of drunkenness. Does it make your teeth fall out? Well, last time I had a shot of this, I woke up in Adelaide. Wow. So the results were 700 kilometers worth of drunkenness and bad decisions. But I woke up 6 hours before I took the shot. Had to drive a rental car back and explain to Shay why I'd disappeared without a trace and somehow accidentally time traveled. Holy shit, can we give it a try? God no! You ever heard of liquor license laws? I'd end up in jail. I think it'd be an excellent formative experience. Yeah, if you're not perpetuating teen drinking culture, you're a loser. Somehow I remain unconvinced by your passionate arguments. Well, we tried. You
cats have way too much time on your hands, you know that? Better than not having enough, right? I'm utilizing my time to practice my skills. It's not wasted. Well, the non-existent industry sector that relies solely on the skills of reaching over bars and stealing bottles of enchanted booze is gonna be lucky to have you. Aw, that's so validating, thanks. Can I get you two a coffee or anything? Hot chocolate? I'm kinda busy tonight. I'm hoping that bribing you with free drinks will stop you from nicking my shit. I'll take a free drink. I feel guilty taking one since it was all Tuan's idea. Hey! But I'll graciously accept your offer. Neat. What'll it be? Hot chocolates for both of us? Hot chocolates for both of us. Alright, 2 hot chocolates coming up. Seriously, don't steal anything else while my back's turned, or I'll feed you to a spite elemental. I wonder. Spite elemental? Maybe it's a metaphor? Is she saying that she'll eat us? Or is she saying the spite? Is she the spite elemental? Oh no. Maybe the real spite elementals are the friends we made along the way. God damn it, I hate this. Fair. Why is it such my humor sometimes? Fuck. Oh. Samantha. Age 32. American? Visiting Melbourne for work. Devastatingly patient. Trust me, you kids don't want to meet a spite elemental. Have you? Yep. Got pretty close to not making it out alive. I guess they're in fairly exciting. I guess they're in fairly exciting line of work then. It gets that way sometimes. But spite elementals aren't exciting. They're terrifying. They suck all the air out of a room and make the world ache. And they don't die easy. Huh. It's kind of metal. You sure do need brass balls to face one down, that's for sure. And a steely gaze? What? Because steel is a metal? And I said it was metal, and then you mentioned brass balls, so... Hannah, please back me up. Nope. You brought this one on yourself, mate. No. Aw, she's totally right. Ah! What's going on here? You're bullying my customer, Samantha. Of course not. Good, because that's my job. They're so fucking adorable. You two should go enjoy this, the evening. There's a nice breeze blowing. You remembered my name. That's sweet. Of course I did. You're interesting. Doesn't that describe everyone who walks through your doors, though? Absolutely not. Especially not in the way that you are. Some people would take offense to that. Your boss must be very difficult different to mine. Well, my old boss, I guess. And I'm my own boss now, actually. I apologize. Your approach to hospitality work is very different from what I'm used to. Is what I'm trying to say. Figures. Where'd you work? Just some dive bars overseas. Wretched hive of scum and villainy. America. The owner would never shut up about treating every client like royalty. Definitely America. God. The entitlement. Sounds like a pain in the arse, if you ask me. I'm not asking, actually, but I appreciate the sentiment nonetheless. So, can I get you anything? Surprise me. You'd like me to pick you something? Yeah. Mind if I ask you a couple questions? Are they related to the drink? Yep. Shoot. Okay. What's your favorite white wine? You're not making me a wine cocktail, are you? Nah. I'm partial to a glass of Marsanne every now and then. Fancy. Next question. Have you ever read a star chart? Like an astrology? No. Why? I don't want to put any stock in mysticism. Hey, this place isn't mystical. It's built out of cold, hard facts. I just don't know them all yet. Alright, fair enough. Last question. You're walking in the shallows of an ocean that seems to go into the distance forever. You can't see any land aside from the sand under your feet. Whenever you step forward, the sand sinks just a little bit. As far as you can see, there's no way to escape. Drowning is the only possible outcome. What do you do? I feel like you're about to pull out a Voigtkampf machine or something. It's obviously some sort of test. I run, I swim, I dive where I can, and if I eventually drown, so be it. There's nowhere else to go, and no point to sitting and waiting for starvation or sharks or someone to save me. I have to take action. Interesting. So what's the verdict? Samantha didn't get a response. Medica's eyes had glazed over as soon as she'd answered the last question, and now she stood perfectly still, gazing intensely at the rows and rows of dusty bottles lining dustier shelves. Her lips moved, but no words came out. As Samantha watched, a flask of red liquid twitched, seemingly of its own accord. Maddie craned her neck at it, and scowled. In response, a small bottle next to the first, and surely one big enough to hold a few drops of something, began to glow. Her scowl shifted to a wry smile. Oh! Please, you don't need to open anything new on my account. Gotcha! Your answers were interesting. So were your questions. I'm still having a little trouble figuring out how they relate to each other, though. Is that important? I try to maintain a vague hope that maybe, one day, things might make sense. And until then, I just try to go with the flow, of course. Huh. Sorry for trying to psychoanalyze you there. Try? Do you think you failed? No. What's the verdict then? Well, you're one to tend to accept things as you see them. You don't try to interpret things based off of unrelated frameworks or through patterns. That said, you do try and make sense of the connections between things when you can. But it's no big deal if you don't. You just mark it as an unknown variable and move on. And that reads to me as an intensely pragmatic approach. Would you agree? I suppose. You're the soft sort who doesn't. You're the sort who doesn't buy drinks to enjoy them. You buy them as camouflage. You hide your face behind to project a veer of being untouchable while you watch. Watch what? Everything, I suppose. You take everything in the same way I do. So you're saying that I'm attentive? But that I don't worry about instantly understanding how things are interconnected? Because you're confident that eventually you'll understand it anyway. How do you figure that? You've been watching my hands this whole time. Is that weird? To watch an attractive bartender mixing a very fancy-looking cocktail? To appreciate the craft? No. But given just how interested you are in what my hands are doing, I'd wager you've got some experience in my field. So, are you just really bad at picking up on when you're being flirted with, or... It's fine, sweetie. In fact, it's pretty cute. I meant in alchemy! The field of alchemy! Uh-huh. I'm sure you're very accomplished in alchemy. Just take the drink. Shit, this is really good. Yeah? Took it to an door, yeah. It's smoky but bittersweet and almost makes me feel like I'm reaching the end of something. Like I've got a lump in my throat from saying goodbye, but I can't quite tap into that feeling. Like, what did you even put in this? mezcal, artichoke, mezcal, artichoke bitters, gold heart bitters, and a slice of a gorilla lime. Gorilla lime? That can't be a real thing. It's just hard to acquire. Call it that, because if you bite into one, it feels like you got punched by a gorilla. Physically? No, emotionally. Ah, makes sense. I am not a wizard. Prove it. Ah! That guy, the boss you mentioned? Yeah? Is he good to you? I'm sorry? Does he treat you well? Yeah? To a fault, actually. Far past the point where it's irrational for him to still be nice to me. Good. Actually, I'm sorry, but remind me. But I'm sorry. That reminds me. I have to dash. Got some setup work for a project to finish before the sun comes up. But without you here, who will enable my latent alcoholism? We can just reach over the. You can just reach over the bar and grab the gin. Tonic's in the bar fridge. Will do. Come back soon, though. I'd love to discuss alchemy with you some more. Catch you later. Wait, one last thing. What was the meaning behind the question about the wine I liked? Oh, I was just curious. We will be calling it here, my cuties and my beauties. My throat is starting to give out on me. I'm starting to flubber more words, and it's also been 2 hours. And I have no idea how much longer this would want to go, so I'm gonna cut it here. We'll pick it up here next time. Same bad place, you know? It's been it has been delightful hanging out with you. You should check out the YouTube, the Twitch. Wait, you're on Twitch, or are you on YouTube? Anyway, there's also a Discord that you can stop by, say hi, share a meme or two, and then never visit again. Woo! Have a good day, a good evening, and a good night. Goodbye. Oh, come on, mouse. Goodbye.